Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome into this next video. Today we're going to try to really talk about something very important for English Statistics students, that is stylistics. And this video is just part one, in which we are going to tackle first what do we mean by stylistics, what is meant by stylistics, okay? Let's define what stylistics is. Secondly, what is the purpose of stylistics. Thirdly, we're going to see the history or the background of stylistics, okay? Good. So first of all, what is stylistics? Here we have to know that the definition, the concept of stylistics has assumed different meanings from different linguistic scholars, all right? So it's a broad topic, and we can simply put it together and say that it is the study of style, all right? The study of style. We are not in this video going to focus on what is style or what is not a style. Next video is going to be specialized for the concept of style and the grammar and stylistics and stylistic devices, etc. Good. So here, stylistics is a branch. First, is a branch of applied linguistics, okay, that is concerned with the scientific systematic study of style in texts, and here especially, but not exclusively, in literary texts, okay? What do I mean here? Why I say it's a branch of applied linguistics, not only linguistics? Why? Because we have, as you see, style and istics. So style here, right? And linguistics. So there is a mediation, okay? There is a mediation. So we mediate interdisciplinarity, okay, is there. So that's why there is a linguistic theory, okay, and modern linguistic methodology, okay. So we have style and istics, so stylistics, and it's a branch of linguistics, deeply a little bit, branch of applied linguistics that is concerned with study of style in literary, but not exclusively literary texts. Okay, and here there are some who say that it's the description and the analysis of the variability of linguistic form. All right, in actual language use. What do I mean here is that we try to, for example, we have a literary text. Okay, I try to read between the lines to try to get intended meaning, intended message from this text. Okay, so I'm trying to describe, to analyze with the description and the analysis, okay, of linguistic features within the language, okay, so that I can deduce the meaning. All right, so, and there are some who say again that stylistics is the interpretation of text meaning, okay, or the interpretation of language meaning. All right, so here we understand that it's all about interpretation. It's all about, for example, I read a text and I try to interpret, okay? And the way I can interpret and understand, okay, comprehend the meaning from this text might be also different from another person's perspective and opinion, okay? Because the interpretation has its own principles, right? For example, I said that this is he used for grounding for this purpose. He used euphemism for this purpose, okay? Good. And there are other people who say that it's a branch of general linguistics this time, okay? Because it applies what? The theory and the methodology of the modern linguistics to study the style, okay? The theory, it applies the theory and the methodology of modern linguistics to study style, okay? So here, good, this is what stylistics is. Here we're going to move on the purpose. Why do we need to study these stylistics? Okay, so the first purpose is it enhances the way we think about language and the way we use it, okay? In other words, there is a use of traditional, formal, informal levels of linguistics, okay, of linguistic description. For example, I can simply write a short paragraph or an essay with a very, very normal language, and I would understand it 100%. All right? So I get the message 100%. Whereas, if I go, for example, to the novels of of Thomas Hardy or James Joyce or the poet. All right. So I can just understand, for example, 50%. Why? Because the language use is there is a a high language use. Okay, a high level of language use. All right. So I could not get. So here it enhances the ways. It gives us the mechanisms, techniques, technicalities, the needed media and tools to scrutinize the text under scrutiny. Okay, under analysis in this section. Good. So the first purpose is it enhances the way we think about language. Secondly, it develops our understanding to literature. All right, it develops our understanding to literature. All right. For example, literature students may have the sense of understanding of literature more than linguistic students are, right? Because they are concerned with poems, novels, prose, dramas. Okay, so in all of these, they give what? They maximize. There is maximizing. They maximize our enjoyment in understanding of the text. All right. And here there are some who say that the purpose of stylistics is it connects linguistics analysis with literary criticism. Linguistics analysis with literary criticism. For example, I read that the reader uses foregrounding, for example. So here, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to analyze what is intended meaning from this stylistic device, okay? And if it's a stylistic type, like for example, grammatical stylistics or pragmatical stylistics, in which pragmatic stylistics in which I need to consider the context here. Okay, so what is intended meaning? So it connects linguistic analysis with literary criticism. Okay, so in order to understand this poem, this novel, this genre, this prose, this drama, this mainly literary book, what I should do? I should at first analyze the linguistic description, linguistic features, linguistics analysis. I analyze, good. And secondly, I move on to understand literary criticism so that I could develop a sense of critique and have the ability to criticize whoever. All right, good. Now we move to the history, so-called the background of stylistics. All right, that is that it started as a discipline, all right? So it's an academic discipline, all right? That's why when exactly in the 20th century, it started as a discipline. That's why it is called a 20th century invention, okay? And it has a strong relationship with so-called rhetoric. What is rhetoric? It is a public speaking. It is oral expression, oral presentations, oral oratory, oration. That is rhetoric. And here, stylistics is derived from Greek, like techni, rhetoriki, okay? And it's the art of speech, the art concerned with use of public speaking as a means of persuasion, So back to right. So here, historically, like stylistics seems to be to date back to the style of oral expression. All right, good. Here, stylistics is flourishing and functioning. However, it was seen in particular where? In Britain and in the US in the late 60s, okay? And was largely, right, stylistics was largely spurred and motivated by the work done in the field of stylistics by who? By the Russian formalists, okay? Russian formalism, okay? Russian formalists, or so-called linguistics formalists, good. Like R. Jacobson and Vyshkovsky, good. So here, the formalists wish to make literary inquiry and investigation more scientific by basing it firmly on the explicit observation. Okay, so in order to develop, right, to make efficient within the field of stylistics, you should, focus on the structures, focus on the observed. So the literary work mainly. So it is based on, they wished to make it more scientific, firmly based on the observation, an explicit observation to the text. Okay. So the Russian here formalists were interested in literariness. What is literariness? Is that they devoted their work to the grammatical forms, structures, phonological, lexical, such as what? In structures such as what? Such as parallelism and linguistic deviation. In talking about linguistic deviation, here you have to deviate from the norm. For example, I'm going to give an example. I am writing, for example, in a simple way, right? And anybody can understand my writing. Whereas another person is writing in a very, very careful way. He puts the words, okay? He puts the words in a very, very, it is decidedly put, all right? Decidedly put, firmly put there. And he has an intended meaning, all right? So he uses a high level of language, but the meaning again appears conspicuous and appears again clear. So here, deviate from the norm, which means be different, be unique in your way, style of writing. Good. And here, the formalists focused on the stylistic investigation almost solely. They focused their attention on what? On poetry. On poetry. That is one of the things that they were criticized of. Okay, so they give an overriding focus to linguistic form, to poetry, mainly to linguistic forms. And they were criticized as they ignored the significance and the importance of contextual factors such as pragmatic, social, historical context of texts. Contexts of texts, all right? So these factors like pragmatics, like social context, so they ignored, the Russian formalists ignored this side that is very important. Why don't you mention, for example, stylistics? So they ignored pragmatics, they ignored social, historical contexts of the text. I want to read this story, this novel, this genre, but I don't have any background about the author. So my reading is going to be not that much really cool. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video. Looking forward to seeing you in the next. Talking about different ideas about stylistics, all right, and even about syntax. Why not? So guys, thank you so much, and do not forget, please, to subscribe and hit the notification button so that whenever I upload any video to get notified. All right, thank you so much. Don't forget to like.